Hello guys, NautoAce here, and this will be another response to the AVGN on his mailbag response. So again, another something that I am interested because again, this is something that it's a long time coming, and my personal opinion, they should have done already this fix a solution, but you know, it is what it is. So what am I talking about here? And that is the whole story of AVGN versus Irate Gamer, or James Rolfe versus Chris Bohr. And yes, those names are public, you can see them in the internet, so there's no doxing here, just making sure. And if you're an OG YouTube and if you've been following this situation since 2008, then you know the whole big story about what happened. So I'm gonna give the gist of it before I kind of give my reaction to James actually reading an email from Chris Bohr. Yes, so that's what it is. I'm gonna put the link on the actual video on the description box. So the gist of what happened was in I think 2006 to 2008. James was doing, of course, the AVGN. Everybody knows what it is, reviewing bad video games. And here's the tidbit. People say, oh, he was the first one that did it. Well, maybe. There was actually another guy that works for EGM at one point in the past. His name is Sean Baby. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening with EGM as of right now in 2021. But Sean Baby actually was another one that kind of reviewed very bad video game, you know, just for shits and giggles. But technically in a magazine, EGM. James, what he did was he did it in a video format and he put it up on YouTube. And of course, if you know the history, he did more, he got popular, now he's working with Screenwave Media. At the same time, there have been a lot of people who were inspired to do what James does. And I said it before in my previous video, is that the reason a lot of this people were doing video game YouTube were inspired by the AVGN. That's the thing. I mean, whether you like it or not, that's the truth. People that I follow were inspired by the AVGN to a point that some of them were doing AVGN style reviews. But then, of course, there are some go with hardcore AVGN fans to a point they told them, hey, you guys are ripoff, don't do this, only James can do it. And some of the people called them the AVGN Nazis. To a point, I don't know if it's true or not, that James actually had to address it because it was just getting out of hand. I know there was a video that I saw. The guy's name is Akuski Rocker. I don't know what happened to that guy, but he did a video a long time ago, basically getting an email from James and saying, hey, you know, just do what you do and just ignore the haters. And that's also another thing that James does. That's the reason why, to some extent, like sort of the solution wasn't there for a while. Is James's policy rule every time there's drama involved, especially involved with his intellect property or whatever, is he just stay out of it, let it dry out, let it die out, whatever, and just, you know, he ignores it. But of course, his friend Mike Matei, from what I understand, couldn't really just sit by, so he sort of did something. And I know there was even one point, again, I don't know if it's true or not, there was rumor, again, this is what I just heard on the internet, this is a long time ago, Screw Attack at one point, because he was working with them, that they said they could do something about it. There was even a point that they even talked to Viacom. I mean, it was getting out of hand. For me personally, when I first heard of the Irate Gamer Chris Bohr, my belief was, my procedure was okay, well, if this guy's a ripoff, let me check. And then for a while I was like, well, he does kind of act like James. But after a while, learning more about the history of what's happening, he did admit, he said, yeah, he did kind of inspired by James, but then for a while he was trying to learn. But of course now, with the Irate Gamer show, he is doing his own thing, which is, again, props. But for me, when I saw that, okay, whatever, and all I did was just ignore it and just not acknowledge him. That's really one way to do it. I know the other way is call the person out, let everybody know, let your voice heard, I know. So it is sort of a double-edged sword there, but it is what it is. But for me personally, I just like, well, you know what? I'm just gonna stay out of it. I'm just not gonna support Chris Bohr because this guy's a rip-off, as a lot of people say, which is he's not. He's a plagiarist. No, he's not. Did he act like the AVGN in the beginning? Definitely, because he was trying to find his footing, and then after a while, it's like, there you go. And the reason why some people in the beginning, again, I learned this from the internet as an observer, was James, well, like I said, he just ignored it, which is, again, it's a good thing to some extent, but could have at least talked to Chris, and he even admitted, and I'm going to explain it later. What happened was some people did try to talk to Chris Ball, from what I heard, and sometimes people show like the reaction. I know one that I saw on a video, he did a lot of video about Irate Gamer versus AVGN, and there was a video he did that he did trying to talk to the Irate Gamer, and then Irate Gamer blocked him. So I don't know the whole story, but I'm like, I guess I can see why some people don't like him. I think there was even some rumor that Chris Ball at one point even was being a jerk, but in actuality, people found out that there were some jerk people that trying to mess things up, even making it worse than it is. An example I can say is that there was a started blog, so respect for the guy. He got a picture or some sort of supposedly receipt that Boar was being a jerk, saying that shove a cactus up your ass or something like that. And I was like, wow, really? And in actuality, again, he found out it was fake from some hater just trying to store up thing. And again, kind of, you can see where just going. It was like really, really messed up. So that was the story with the AVGN versus Irate Gamer thing. And I'm going to link some video on the description box for more if you want to know about the history. Did a good history about it. And another one, unfortunately, I was going to do a link. His YouTube is still up. He's not active. But he did a video, like, is it really an AVGN versus Irate Gamer document? But again, unfortunately, from what I understand, is that he did remove it. So again, it is what it is, and it was just not there. So that's basically the gist of that, of the Irate Gamer versus AVGN thing. And what it all started was some of the dedicated fans trying to store up, saying, "Oh, he's a plagiarist. This guy's a plagiarist." And they sort of, again, supposedly receipt, but they're not. It was just that Chris Ball was just trying to get a footing. But again, I guess you can blame is YouTube for featuring his video before James. And I think that also what happened, and to a point that I think Mike Matei, again, from what I understand, again, long time ago. So again, everything's water down the bridge. He wasn't too happy about it. That was the thing. Like, he wasn't literally happy about it. So again, it is what it is. I don't know. So yeah, what else I can talk about it? Oh yeah, and of course the infamous that email thing. So again, I don't know if it's true or not, but there was a story that Chris Ward sent an email, supposedly a personal email to James, but they used the Cinemassacre email, so it's sort of a business email. And when Mike Matei saw it, I think he posted publicly on the Screw Attack forum. Again, I don't know if it's true or not, but there was something about that. I mean, again, the end result is it just got out of hand to a point that both of them just said, we're not going to talk to each other, because even Irate Gamer, Chris Ball, can explain it. So there you go. And of course, moving forward to 2020, what did happen? Why all suddenly Angry Video Game Nerd and Irate Gamer all suddenly became like buddies? And again, Chris Ball can explain it. Believe it or not, it was James who convinced Chris Ball to go back to be the Irate Gamer and just say, hey, do your own thing. And if you want to do a collab, hey, why not? Let's do it. And of course, the Dick Tracy one. And a teaser, I might probably give my impression of that one, the episode, because it was actually more understandable why X, Y, and Z is happening. But again, so it kind of showed that they made up, and all this crap about the verses was really unnecessary, and I agree with it. So that's the gist of it, of the whole Angry Game Nerd versus Irate Gamer. I know it's long because of the history. With that said, the real main event of this video is my reaction to James actually reading Chris Ball's email, and I agree with it to what it is. So I'm gonna react to bit by bit of what he does there. So with that, let's go.
This one's not really anonymous.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay, this one's not really anonymous. Hey James, I hope all is well with you. I know I might sound like a broken record with this email, but I want to thank you again for doing a collab with me over the summer. I spent the whole day today recording my next batch of Irate Gamer videos. Super nice guy.
So yeah, so if you're following the Irate Gamer, he did say it on his Facebook. Yeah, I'm a fan of his on Facebook, so he's a cool guy. I learned more about him when I interact with him, talk about the Skylander, the Amiibo and stuff. Cool guy, really. So a lot of this like hate that he was a jerk off like that, yeah, it was, it was false. Just people just hated him because he was for a while popular than James. Like, my thoughts about that one is, hey, you start somewhere and you do your original, like your own style in the long run. You learn. So it's great. It's gonna do more Irate Gamer episodes. I know I'm sort of leaning towards that one now because it's probably because the long break kind of helps. So, but of course, James been doing it. But I'm gonna try to watch some of his AVGN episode. But like I said, sometimes like, is it really funny? Not. I mean, no hate. Like I said, I'm a fan of AVGN, but you're doing it for long. Sometimes it's like there is gonna be something. A role probably gonna break up at some point, but not so much. But it is what it is.
And I just felt compelled to make sure to thank you again, because the entire time recording, I felt so liberated to just do a review and not have to worry about if I would accidentally copy something you did.
There you go. See, that was what happened in the beginning. Did he copy James in the beginning? To some extent, yes, because he was just learning. But what happened is that the haters just wouldn't let up, to a point that he was doing Skylander because he liked it. He was, I like Skylander. I know they kind of whore it out. I'm gonna call it. Well, they oversaturated thanks to Bobby No Dick. But it is what it is. Activision there. And some of the reply was, "Oh, you're AVGN ripoff, copycat, plagiarist." Like again, that crap. To a point that even the Arch theme, again, like I said, I'm gonna link some of his video because he makes good explanation on the whole situation. Even to a point he said to the people, stop, it's done, he's not doing it anymore, let it go, move on. And yeah, and then the question is, are there still some Irate Gamer haters or AVGN haters? Sadly, from what I understand, not so much anymore. Like, they're very, very like little, but from what I heard, there are still some. Like, the whole situation really was just unnecessary. Just, dude, just like if you don't like the person, you don't like what they're doing, just don't watch it. But again, you got those hardcore fanboy that we must stand up for James, we must stand up for the Irate Gamer or whatever, we must show our virtue because they must succeed, like they are being successful. So again, relax, people. I like both of them now. They're doing good quality work.
A long time ago, the internet tried to make us out into be like enemies or something. And, it was really not cool. And I just tried to stay out of the whole thing. Didn't want to have anything to do with it. So I wish we reached out to each other earlier, because the whole time, all I wanted to say to him was, hey, man, it's cool.
There you go. At least finally he responded. I know it's not a lot, but what he said there was, yeah, it wasn't cool. Like the whole thing, the whole situation didn't have to happen, but what happened was, like he said, he did want to stay out of it. He didn't want to get involved, because that's always been his kind of like belief. And like I said, what made it worse was the fans, and to some extent also, like I said, Mike Matei is cool, his channel is cool. He sort of also kind of a bit, maybe a little bit like water drop bit involved, because he didn't know the whole situation. And they thought the fans was doing it for their like better benefits, but they didn't realize, it was really unnecessary. So after a while, finally they said, hey, you know what? They shouldn't, like James said, that he wished that if he could, just said, hey, school about it. Let's talk about like going on. The problem is that, like I said, he was staying out of it. Chris Board did try and talk to James via email, but of course, like I said, for the rumor of the email thing on Screw Attack forum at a time kind of made it worse. And I think even one point James did can address it because the fans kept bugging him. And like there have been times like I just don't want to talk about Irate Gamer, but they kept pushing it. And then the question is, why didn't he not talk to Chris Board or vice versa? Like I said, Chris Board did try to, but of course, the result. The AVGN, James Ruff just said, hey, You know, I'm just gonna stay out of it. Again, that's good. Never get involved, but there are situations when push comes to shove when you gotta really fix it. You gotta say something. Hey, is he doing what he's doing? And I think also probably was that Jane didn't know the whole situation. Like, should I believe Chris Moore? Is this guy really cool? Is he a jerk? Or because I got dedicated fans that basically, are they doing it in our best interest or not? I mean, the best thing he said was just to stay away from it. And I mean, it wasn't that like damaging. It's just, it would have been nice if they did talk it out. It would have been a bit different story. But again, you know, it is what it is. That's the history of what's happening.
I can't even put into words the exact feeling that came over me today, but doing these videos has become so enjoyable for me again. I feel much more freedom to spread my wings than I did before.
Yeah, so what that Chris Bourne basically said, if you watch his commentary videos on the Irate Gamer, every time he does it, unfortunately, there's always in the back of his head, oh, it's going to be rip-off, it's going to be copycat, because every time he puts up a video, there will be someone, like, they're just trying to, quote-unquote, and I hate it, cancel. And again, not really cool, but again, you know, finally, remember, it was James who convinced Chris Bourne to do the Irate Gamer once again, so there you go.
I really don't know how I could ever repay you, because the peace of mind I have now is priceless. That is so awesome. You know, that just means so much to me. I'm so glad, you know, better late than never. I'm just so happy that, you know, we got to talk and stuff. And, yeah, we should do something in the future, too.
There you go. So, again, better late than never. So, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, my opinion about it, they could have done it earlier. But, again, you know, it's better than nothing, you know. It's better. Wait, what I'm saying, not better than that. Excuse me. Heck no. Mighty Number 9, that sucks. No, I mean, better late than never. That's what I'm trying to say, man. I'm thinking about the other things there. Apologies. Is that, yeah. So, again, so what's the conclusion? They cool. They made up. They realized that all this versus thing was pointless from the get-go. A lot of people, including myself, said, oh, okay, you know, so cool about it. And, yeah, so there you go. So it's pretty awesome that what happened here. So I gotta give props for both sides, Chris Moore and the AVGN. And of course, now with that, also I want to just kind of give a tidbit about the whole mailbag thing and kind of give a big picture of it. So remember in my origin, I said that it's okay to criticize someone if you're constructive, if you're helping them, you want them to improve. So some people are like, why every time I talk to someone, I'm not attacking someone, I'm not insulting someone, I'm just calling out the flaws to some extent. I just want them to be better. Why people don't like it? Because to some extent, it's the internet. Second, hey, some people don't like it, the idea of having a voice, because again, they don't know, they can't tell whether are you doing it because you want to help the person, you support the person, or you're a hater, or you're just doing it because you want views, cloud, you know, the whole side against the internet. And to some extent, it is sort of the reason why also. If you watch his video, the mailbag one, a lot of these fans are saying thank you. It wasn't for your AVGN, it wasn't for you, James Roll. Our lives probably going to be in a bad place, to some extent, south place. Like a lot of times for them, they basically said that watching AVGN kind of makes it help, you know, not think about the bad thing, reality, to go to a fantasy, like, you know, I just want to watch something, just don't think about anything bad. There you go. And the concern there is really that if someone's even being critical to someone, if they take that the wrong way, they might say, oh, I'm going to go away, I don't like this. There have been situations like that, unfortunately, and that's what they don't want. I mean, all I can say is that being critical doesn't really mean nice, but it's supposed to help them, to learn them, not to belittle on them, not to insult them, put them down. Like, I don't do that. When I criticize someone, I'm being critical, I just want them to be better. I want PewDiePie to be better because of the situation. I want James to be better. Like, just for me personally, like, I don't insult anyone. I don't do that. There's no hate for me. Like, if I really don't want that person to be better or whatever, I don't talk about it. I keep my mouth shut and I just do something else. By giving my critical thoughts on someone, I'm giving up my time because I want just my opinion, contribute to make that person better. If they want to take that advice, cool. If not, hey, it's an option there. So, but the idea of, oh, because you have a voice, you shouldn't, that's kind of like not cool, as what James would say. But it is what it is, the internet. But yeah, so there you go. My thoughts on the Irate Gamer AVGN story, and finally, this story is closed. And like James said, hopefully in the long run they would do a collaboration again. Cause yeah, I saw that episode; it was actually awesome there. So again, in the end, I'm just gonna want to say thank you, James Rolfe, thank you, Chris Bohr, for providing video to entertain your fans, the gaming community, to help them take off their mind on real situations. Because sometimes it's not always good to just say, I need something to relax, not think about it for a while, and then there you go, AVGN video, Irate Gamer. Because in the end of the day, it is meant to be entertainment. That's all it is, to have fun and entertain people. That's it. So with that, I'll see you guys later.